Okay, then I would say thanks everyone for joining that early in the morning. For me, it's actually also early, to be honest. I start usually at 9 my work, but it's also good to become an early bird here. In my job, often there are like the night shifts, but you will understand why. So I want to present you today about Mendix, the low-code platform, and why this is relevant for you as master's students. So far I know you are. There is a huge demand for Mendix developers, in general for low-code developers. And when you are interested in this technology, I can tell you, especially in Germany, you will have very good chances of boosting your career much faster. I will tell you also about mine to give you a glimpse of how such a career can look like. And with low code, you're 10 times faster than traditional methods. That's what they promise. Like traditional methods like, I don't know, Java, Python development, and etc. But to be honest, in my experience, I would say for sure it's 5 times faster, but it really also depends on the team who's developing the software solutions. It's not only the platform, it's mainly a team effort, right? So that's what low code is about. And before I start with the agenda, I want to tell you more about myself. I started studying 2015 in the University of Heilbronn. I studied Business Information Systems, so Wirtschaftsinformatik. And like I was finished in 2018, it was just my bachelor. Then in 2017, actually already, I started at SAP as an intern and later working student. And in 2018, then after my studies, full-time. When I was at SAP, I already from the first, like as a full-time person in 2018, I got in touch with Mendix because Mendix was partnering up with SAP back then. It was just a fresh partnership, and therefore SAP was interested in that we internally use Mendix to build applications, and that's how my journey started with Mendix at SAP, and I built multiple applications there. And to be honest, like when I built my first application at SAP, I never built an app before. Never, like I built like side projects like Python. I did a lot of in Python, but as a student, you know, and just as fun fact and so on, but nothing really production level app or enterprise level app. And then when I was at SAP and I got in touch with Mendix, I was in a portfolio team, and in that portfolio team, it was like that. Imagine there is a business unit who have demands, who say, hey, I want that the IT builds us this and this and this and this IT product, because with that IT product, it's going to support our process or something for sales and so on, right? And the IT is then going to deliver those things based on priority, because it's a lot. So then I was in a portfolio team, in the middle IT portfolio team, who basically had to orchestrate what is important, who should deliver what, and communicate between those. And the management gave basically budget to the team to also distribute it. That means like there are like certain, and we could get external help in certain areas of the IT delivery to see that we have the best delivery for that year. And then also we had to report to that management, hey, right now the portfolio looks like this. This is going to be delivered. These people are going to deliver. They say it will take that many days, that much budget, and so on and so on. And how the things was like that. The whole thing was done in Excel and PowerPoint, and that was very bad. So because we had issues with duplicate Excel files everywhere, we didn't know which one is the correct data. We did PowerPoints to present to the management, which took us 2 weeks to create that PowerPoint, and then basically it was outdated data. And so we had so many issues with that then I started building with Mendix, which I taught myself, like learning by doing the previous month and before. I started building a portfolio app by just starting what do I do day by day, and to have a tool which supports me. And then I could convince my manager and another colleague of mine to together build this application. And in just 3 months, we built the whole portfolio app, and it was supporting the IT portfolio process. Suddenly, there were like 300 people on the tool, and all the important data and the reporting and the management was looking on it and so on. It was a lighthouse project. It was very, very good. And after that, I continued doing further Mendix projects at SAP until 2021. Then I left SAP. The main reason was that Siemens acquired Mendix in 2018 or 19. And SAP was coming with an own low-code platform. It's called SAP Build, but much later actually. And I left because I was convinced that Mendix is the best leading and best low-code platform. And then I started as a freelancer. And as a freelancer, I worked in multiple industries like aerospace, finance, insurance, manufacturing, and so on. A couple of those, I will show also later which companies I worked at. And last year in 2023, I founded my company, LowCodeX. It has this location in Köln, Germany. I always hear that Köln is basically like Berlin, but just smaller and more compact. But yeah, I love both cities, Köln and Berlin. I actually wanted to come first to Berlin today, but then it was too much with the traveling. But maybe when there's a next guest lecture in a more later time, you can do that. And so today I am founder of LowCodeX. I have a team of developers, mainly in Pakistan right now, not in Germany yet that much. I'm a certified Mendix expert and MVP. What does MVP mean? I don't really know. I think most valuable person or so. That means Mendix selects every year like 10 to 15 people around the globe who are into Mendix, who want to push the community, who basically are, like you mentioned, low-code evangelists. And that's also why I'm here to tell you about Mendix, to introduce you what it is about, and also from a technical level, right? I'm not doing here sales slides or so. I'm on my own technical person. I'm a developer. I love to program, and but I'm also with Wirtschaft informatic businesses information systems. I'm not that much of a hardcore developer, but more like I also like the business side, the IT management side, and the whole communication and all that kind of stuff. And low-code is combining that very well. And I'm also certified in SAP Build. As I said, that's the low-code, no-code platform of SAP. But this is not a topic for today's presentation. So what are we going to do today? I'm going to introduce you low-code. So far I know you got the first introduction 2 weeks ago about low-code. I'm going to tell about, from my own perspective, about low-code, and then we're going to go and talk about Mendix. And the third thing is go make it. I want to focus mainly on this one, to be honest. We're going to build an application together. And I have to admit, I didn't prepare the application. I have it in my head. Basically, it's a use case we did earlier. And so it's going to be more like a freestyle doing it, but at least you will also see how is the process, right, from nothing to something. And then I'm very curious how far we're going to get here. and that's going to be exciting. And then the last part is the about LowCodeX. I'm going to talk a little bit about LowCodeX, and then ending it with that. So let's start with LowCode. Quickly, I have to take water. Sorry. So LowCode, what is the challenge? The challenge about LowCode is, as I said earlier, there is a business demand, right? We are in a world where digital transformation is key. A lot of processes are automated. You have to keep up with the technology to be competitive. You have to come up with solutions, IT solutions, automations, whatever, all that kind of stuff as a business to be competitive and to grow and to innovate. And the business has a lot of demands, a lot of things which need to be done, and the supply, the IT delivery is just not enough. There's a lack of IT developers, and also it just takes a lot of time always to deliver a software project. And here's, for example, a statistic: almost a third of software projects are delayed more than 6 months. In 6 months with LowCode, you can build the whole app basically. And this reflects totally to my experience at SAP in the portfolio team, right? So that was for me very exciting, because I used a tool, a LowCode tool, which exactly was solving that problem, what I was facing in the portfolio management team, seeing how the business and IT demand was. So that was pretty amazing for me, and also that was easier for me to convince me, like, hey, LowCode is the way to go. And with my own experiences, it get just further like that. It was true how it is like that. And this is the challenge we're solving right now with LowCode. And when I try to introduce LowCode, here are some bullet points. Let's say definition, benefits, and developer. So what you can understand as a LowCode is, in the beginning, it was also called rapid application development. I know when I started, it was between LowCode and rapid application development in a way of which one is the right word. I think both fit. Rapid application development because it's so much faster, and LowCode because you need less code. That means you have a visual interface, and we will also see that later. And instead of writing code and all the text, you have these elements where you can just drag and drop your code together in a sequence, and you don't need coding or minimal coding. In my apps, which I built, we every now and then put code into the Mendix platform, but you don't really need it, and you focus more on the product, right? It's not important how your code looks like when you code, or it just has to work. And of course, clean, lean code and so on is good. The same is in Mendix. There are best practices how to build the thing, but at the end, the product is the important thing, the IT product. And you can focus much better on the product itself than on the development with low-code platforms where you have also the visual feedback. The benefits are clear. You're much faster in developing, but also in deployment, right? So when enterprises, they have their clouds, SAP Cloud, Microsoft Azure Cloud, and so on and so on. And when they create an application, they deploy it on those clouds, so that they run on those servers, right? And with low-code platforms such as Mendix, it's done by a couple of clicks after the configuration of the environment, and you're deployed. I never knew before what deployment really is, how it works, and with Mendix, I just gained that experience. You also need less deep technical expertise. To be honest here, following with low code, there was in the beginning something like called citizen developer. So low code promised, hey, you're 10 times faster, but also anyone like who wants can become a low code developer, so-called citizen developer. They said you don't need really a technical expertise and you can just get started. That's partially true. So there are like no-code platforms or low-code platforms which are kept simple, like for example a no-code platform like Bubble.io, where you can say, okay, this maybe you don't need that much of a technical expertise and you can get started really fast. But low-code platforms like Mendix, they're so evolved, they're so big, there's so many things you can do. It's basically like an airplane with a lot of buttons you can click instead of a car, basically. And therefore, it's still the burden of getting started with Mendix is lower than for the traditional development, but still you need some technical expertise. And I think as a business information systems student, you're the best fit for low code because you have the technical understanding, but you also have the business side, and it helps you very good to get started there. And that's also with the increased collaboration. Suddenly, the IT and the business, they can collaborate much better with each other because of the low-code platform. Why? They see the visual feedback, right? You build something, you can show it to your client, to your business. Like here, that's how I built it. You can explain how often it happened that a client of mine was like, hey, I don't understand why this thing is not working, or they just didn't know why the app is working, how it's working. So I then opened the Mendix and I showed like, look, here is the table. And here is basically when you click that and that and that happens. So I could take them with me on a journey showing the code without really showing code, but just the visual elements and the aspects. And it was much easier to get them a technical understanding about how the app works. That's also a huge benefit, to be honest, I have to say, in my work with my clients. Then as a developer, so there's something called Fusion Teams. What is this about? In Fusion Teams, in a project, what we expect nowadays is that you have all kinds of people in the team, from citizen developer who has more business know-how maybe. Why would you become a citizen developer? It would be like in my case with the portfolio team, right? I have an own process. I'm working on it manually, but I don't want to do it with Excel and PowerPoint. So I would like to build it in an app, but I know everything about the portfolio process. I know who's what responsible. I know what are the steps, what are the processes. So I'm the right guy to tell the IT people what to do or how to develop, but also I can now also make hands-on and develop. So this is a citizen developer. Then there can be a professional developer who can do integrations and all that kind of stuff. And the business analyst, like just a mix of a team in the Fusion Teams. And that's where the trend is going towards too. And a developer, a low-code developer, or let's say citizen developer, as I said, comes with a domain expertise. Comes with the domain expertise mainly, and that's what the benefit about low code is that the one who has the knowledge about the business can collaborate and work with you on the low code, no code tools landscape. And by the way, companies are tending to not only use one low code platform, but two or more, because you don't want to depend on just one low code platform. And that's when we come again to this, what Timo mentioned about the disadvantages. So it's fact that you're locking yourself to a vendor. You're basically building applications and you're creating a dependency to a low-code platform provider. So that's where you want to be cautious. Also, which low-code platform you choose, but also have a variety of low-code platforms for different use cases. Because there's also something like Power Apps, which is very good for Microsoft products. Here are some statistics. I want to go quickly over that. This statistic, I know that since I started with Mendix, so I'm very curious, for example, about that from Gartner, the prediction that until 2025, 70% of all apps will be built using no-code, low-code. I'm not sure if that is going to be the case, because next year is 2025, but I see definitely, since I started in 2018, an increase of the market, a huge increase. Let's see how the things look like next year. But also here from Mendix, 70% of the users with no development experience, right, could learn low code in 1 month. I mean, the basics, I would say, not like that you suddenly can do a lot of stuff. It still takes time. It's still like an effort. It's still like suddenly you don't need learn a programming language, but you learn how to use the platform, right? The platform somehow is the programming language, because you have to know where the things are. Yeah, and here are some other statistics. I will share the slides later with you, so you can have a look into that. Then let's go with Mendix. So we had low code right now, and Mendix is a low code platform. And here we can see that there is a Gartner Magic Quadrant. The Gartner Magic Quadrant shows here the best, let's say, enterprise low-code application platforms. And I like the term here, enterprise, because there are really like low-code platforms which you know, when I did Mendix, I was also like, hey, maybe I can build some apps for me personally to use it. I can build, but there's a huge license cost behind it. And Mendix is targeting really like the big enterprises. But on the other hand, the good thing is when I'm a Mendix developer, then I can target all these businesses, these big businesses, and it's good for my company as well. We can see here, based on completeness of the vision and ability to execute, right? That's from August 2023. We see Mendix is by far above the leaders, and we also see OutSystems here. So far I know from Timo, you also compare OutSystems with Mendix. I want to give you here some hints. It's very exciting, very interesting, and very good that you compare OutSystems with Mendix, or like that you at least go with both platforms and get an idea of both platforms. Both are very strong. Mendix is originally from Rotterdam, Netherlands. OutSystems is from Portugal. And when OutSystems was founded, OutSystems targeted more professional developers. So the platform is more like targeting people who already do traditional development, to basically give them a tool set, but still low code. But it was mainly in the terms of professional developers. And Mendix was targeting more the business developer, business people, like more like you don't need that much technical expertise, and citizen developer, you can get started. And at the end, the interesting thing is that they both, in my opinion and experience, then merged into not professional developer, not citizen developer, but someone in between, just a guy or a girl who is has technical affinity and can use low-code tools. That was also that with the Fusion teams I talked about. And right now, what's happening, if you go on LinkedIn or so and you look for hashtag Mendix, hashtag OutSystems, there's a lot of companies who are comparing those two platforms because of the licensing model. There's right now stuff happening where OutSystems clients are considering to switch to Mendix because of some things, also a platform upgrade. So OutSystems is upgrading their core technology to OIDC or so. I don't know exactly what this all about is, but it changes a lot. So it shows also you're dependent on a low-code platform, and when they do some certain things, you have to live with it. Or you have to migrate your apps, or you have to switch, basically. This is then, again, a disadvantage. And I don't say it's just OutSystems, right? I say in general, when you depend to a low-code platform that comes with it. But also we have a lot of benefits here. So Mendix itself has an intuitive AI, and the application logic is scalable. It's very important because of the enterprise level applications. You have workflow automation, AI assistant development. We will see that also. I really try to go through the slides fast so we can develop. So it suggests you the next activities, and data integration is very good. So when I do Mendix apps, it's barely the case that I do an app standalone, because an app standalone doesn't really make that much use of a process the company has. And when the company has a process, it's mainly I send data to this system, I get data from here, I do this and this. There's a lot of data communication. So a Mendix app is very important that integrations work well with SAP systems, with all the other kind of systems, with OData, REST, SOAP, and all that kind of stuff. And that works pretty good in Mendix as well. Then we have version control and Git, like you are used to in GitHub. And we have that as well in Mendix, and multi-user development. So that means the platform is made with branches, like branch lines, main line, and like you can divide it in. I have a development line and so on, so that multiple people, developers can work on a project, and then you have the professional way of merging your code and creating deployment packages to deliver then an increment of your software. And there's a Mendix marketplace where you can use components or widgets, it's called. Instead of building every time your own thing, you just go to the marketplace. It's all everything is for free as of now, but as a company you can create widgets and offer them for money, and then you just make use of something which someone already created, and don't have to rebuild it. One more time, Arthur. So, Mendix is a company. Here, that's in Rotterdam. I think they're in the 6th floor or so. And that's their, I think it's not anymore the official headquarters, and that's in Boston. But the core business, the core people of Mendix, they're in Netherlands. So they're also here in the Rotterdam office. By the way, today in the evening, there is a Mendix meetup in Rotterdam. I'm going there. So I'm right now in Utrecht, Netherlands. And that's something which I do regularly. Mendix has a lot of meetups in Netherlands, where just Mendix people are meeting and exchanging and sharing presentations. There's food and dinner. And last week on Thursday, LowCodeX and myself, we hosted the very first Mendix meetup in Köln on Thursday. It was about SAP integration with Mendix. And so in Germany, we want to also get started with more Mendix meetups. It was a great success. And in case you have any idea of, like, if you think like a meetup in Berlin or so would be great, just drop me a message. Right, and then we bring the Mendix community to Berlin. But yeah, that was just a side story. So, founded in 2005, Mendix has 1,700 plus employees worldwide. I got that stats from Mendix itself. And Siemens is part of, Mendix is part of Siemens since 2018. And Siemens did a very great decision there to acquire Mendix and pushing it in the DACH regions. And Mendix has also partnerships like with SAP. That's how I got involved with Mendix, right? In 2017, and they got the partnership, and also with AWS. So very, very strong in the market, Mendix. Quickly here, the architecture, how a Mendix application looks like. This is all done in one Mendix app. So you have a data layer that's here in the bottom. That's basically your domain model with your entities, associations, and attributes. But we will see that in a bit. That's called the domain model. Then you have your logic layer, which is basically here your microflows, right? As do this, then this, then this, and so on with activities. You have that, and then why is this happening? And then you have your presentation layer, your front end. So when you build an application, you can use the same domain model, the same logic, to then provide the app on a web, on a mobile. Like mobile means either responsive web app, but also on an iPhone app, Android app, like native. It uses the React Native framework. And then also AR, augmented reality. I didn't do that yet, but I know, for example, the Apple Studio display, you can build Mendix apps for the Apple Studio display, but didn't have the chance yet to do that. It's yet too expensive, and I'm actually waiting for another release of the Studio display to try it out. Yeah, that's to the architecture. And now I would say let's make an application together. I think that's more interesting for you. And then later on, after the app, I would say let's just try to see what we can do in 25 minutes, 30 minutes, okay, real quick. And then I want to show you learnings, like how you can learn, what are there for certifications and so on. And then later I'm going to show you LowCodeX, and there I want to show you my clients I worked for, and the projects we did, so that you get an idea of what kind of projects were there. I wanted to show you a real app of a client I built, but unfortunately I wasn't able to get permission to yet for an app. But I have one project which I will be able to, after June, to present to you when it's also announced publicly. And when we have another guest lecture sometime from there on, I have an app then. But let's start doing this application. So what I thought about is an app similar to one I built for a client, a travel request application. And we're going to build it as a web app. I have here integration with Amadeus Flight API. I don't know if you're going to have the time for that. But we still, I will show how it would look like. User management and deployment on SAP BTP. Really have to see. I think I was very ambitious here when I created that slide. But I would say let's quickly get started before I talk too much and we take the time of the development. So as you can see, I have a Mac here, right? And Mendix is available for Windows. And for Mac, there's a beta. So Mac was just published this year in like just recently, and I'm really looking forward for that to be more stable. But until then, I think it just in a couple of months there should be a stable Mac version, and then we can use that. So I'm opening Studio Pro, and then this is how it looks like. So I'm using the latest version, 10.9, and for maybe an interesting thing, when you create applications for clients in a productive environment, okay. When you select the Mendix version, maybe it's relevant for your projects you're gonna do. The Studio Pro, it has something called LTS MTS. So that's a long-term support, mid-term support releases. Those ones are more stable releases, and those ones are the ones you want to use when you build applications for a production level for your clients and so on. You can also decide to use like 10.9 when you go here on other releases. It's there as well. But you want to basically stick to those ones, and they get an update and are more stable than those ones which are in between coming. So that could be also something relevant maybe for you guys to know. And so let's start here. I have the Studio Pro. I create a new app, and I will be presented some templates I can use. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to just start with a blank web app that we have that there. And then I'm going to do here, use this as a starting point. I can give it a name. I will call it Travel Request app. And when I enable online services, what happens is that the project will appear in my Mendix developer portal. So that's the developer portal. And as you can see here right now, there is no app. When I would make no, it would be just on my PC, but not on the developer portal. So I will click yes, so I can show you also how it looks like there. We can select English as a default and then just create the application. And then it here create team server app. So team server is the thing called where the app is stored and your versions and all that kind of stuff. And now uploads the application here. I think it will also even appear here. And I have here some other apps. And here we see it. The travel request application is appearing here. When I click on this, here I'm already assigned as a team. So before we go to the development, maybe I quickly show that. So here you can invite team members, right? You can just click on here, select the mail address, and then give it the role. I'm not going to go into that role details, but then you can here collaborate with your team. You can upload documents here for the project if you need. In the team server part, you will see the latest commits, right? You also see the branches. So here is the Git endpoint, and as you see, here's already an initial app upload. So when I go in my Studio Pro, here's version control. This is all about pulling, committing, pushing. And when I also go to manage branch lines, right, this is a very important thing. I can create new branches out of other revisions and so on and work on those ones. And they will then also appear here, and the commits will appear here and who committed that one. In the settings, some cloud settings. So when you deploy, you can, for example, set up a SAP BTP cloud. You can use the Mendix cloud and everything. And this is also done here in the settings. When you deliver a project in Mendix, it's most of the time you do agile, right? So you have user stories you create, and then sprints, like create a backlog and the sprint. So let's just give an example. You would go here, create a story. I don't know, let's say travel overview, and then so on. You would describe it here. You would assign it to someone. You would say if it's a feature or a bug. You can enter tags. You would put story points. Story points are also important because not every user story is the same complexity, right? So you want to know if something is very complex or if something is easy to be done. And then you can create those ones. And when you have your backlog and user stories, then what you can do is you can put it into your next sprint here. And then in that sprint, now what you can click here and say start sprint. You say sprint 1. You can say initial app, for example, as a sprint goal. You make your start date, end date, and then you start the sprint. And then you will have it here in the board, and all the team members can work and put those ones in progress. Now, the nice thing here is also what you're going to see when I open my Mendix app. Actually, where was it? And let me go to view, documentations, marketplace, best practice, properties, stories here. The stories, when I click on refresh, look, they also appear here. That's very nice. So I can also see them here. And even when I make a commit, I can commit it to that specific user story. Okay, here's one last thing. Environments, that's where you create your deployment package and where you deploy. But this one is then now not relevant. Let's quickly jump into the development itself. So about the development, and this I will make this model. So in the development, when we start the Studio Pro, we have here on the left side. So let me close this one. to give properties. We have here on the left side, we have the App Explorer. So there are there are modules in that one. The one is the app level. So everything about the app, right? Like settings, configuration, runtime, languages, and all that kind of stuff, they're here. Security is here. So I'm gonna, for example, when I do prototype demo, I can create user roles. Per default, there's admin and user, and I can create more here. And this is about the security. When I have a user role, let's say admin and user, let me create one thing. Let me create the manager, okay? When I create the manager, it's created here on the app level. And as you can see, it has also module roles. You can see here system user. So system is this module. And in that system, there is a user role user, and it has assigned it to the manager. So when I would go to my first module where I can build things, there's also security. So I have a security on app level, and I have a security on module level. So on the module level, I can also create something. I can call this also manager, for example, okay? I have a user and the manager here. So when I go to my app level, now I can say a manager has, and from the app level in this module, in this one, also the manager user role. So when you have multiple modules, you assign the roles to that. Or let's do following to make it more clear. Let's say, for example, read only. That's a read only person, and that's a user, right? So you want to say whoever is, let's change it to guest. Okay, you would just have a guest, whatever. That person would have only read-only role. I mean, you won't do it exactly like that, but I just wanted to give you an understanding how the mapping works. Then the security, I will turn it off so we can build for now without implications. Then we have the navigation. That's the main part. So here's the application title. I can change that quickly to travel request application. I can have an app icon. You can just select upload your own ones here. And then the default homepage for someone who logs in is the home web, this one from my first module. You can change it to any homepage you want. And then also there are role-based home pages. We're not going to dive into that, but you basically can say someone who logs in as a manager has this as a home page, starting page. Someone who logs in as an admin has this basically home page. Like here, the admin has then, I don't know, a different one. I don't have here another page as a home page, right? And then here is the navigation. So first we have the navigation bar home, and you can just add here new items. You can add new items in here and see it. So what I will do now is, and then we have, I will quickly talk about pages, domain model and logic, and then I'm going to start building. So this is the home page. As we saw, here you can make the front end. You have a design mode, which gives you more how it could look like when you run it. And the structure mode is more about when you want to develop. It's much easier. And then we have the microflows. This is where the logic happens, where it executes, and in that we have activities. And as you see here, it's already giving some suggestions. And we have the domain model, which is then basically our entities and our data. So I will say, let's start real quick by building. One last thing, we have here on the right side also the properties lane. Depending on where you click, right, you have certain properties popping up which you can use. And also we have the marketplace here in case we want to make use of something like, for example, community comments or Excel importer. And then we have also here the toolbox of the things we can do. So for the travel request app, what is the use case? I'm an employee of a company, and I have to travel of the company purposes, let's say to Dubai, because there is a business trip, and I have to book the flights and everything. and when I book the flights, my manager has to approve my request. He has to say, oh, okay, you want to travel with that airline and you want to stay in that hotel, and then that's the cost and so on. So he can approve it. So I'm requesting my trip. We start with an entity. Oops, I changed it accidentally. Let's call it a travel request. Okay. We can start with let's say business. Business. Like what can we say? Purpose. Okay, we call it purpose. Purpose of the trip. Okay. We can make here enumeration new. I call it enum purpose. And then I can say business trip as an enumeration value. I can say, I don't know, on-site meeting. I don't know what kind of options there are, but you can just put it here and then click on OK. And then this enumeration value is now a part of the purpose. Then we can say from date. Okay, and as you see, suddenly the type is automatically filled by Mendix. From date to date, and then you can say from location, from where. How do you call it? One is destination, and the other one is, I could say destination. I don't know anymore. Like, how is this location called where you start your journey and trip? I don't know. Let's just call it. Oops. From location, and we can keep the string to location, make it as string, and then I have the purpose. Of the trip. I have from to, and then I can click on OK. Then I want to have another entity. This is the general data, but I want to have my flight. Okay, and my flight has the same. It has a from location. It has a from location. And then it has a to location. And as I said, I'm doing this a little bit freestyle. But from to, then maybe it has an airline. Basically, it has a airline number. In an integration, you would basically get all of this values and make it string. Then what we can also do is, do I want to just one way, or do I want to road trip back and forth? So what I can do here is I can make attribute, call it round trip. I can make it a Boolean, true or false. In the beginning it's false. No, but it's stuck. Sorry. New round trip. And then I say Boolean. Okay, that's my UI. That looks awkward. 1 second. I think start. Okay, here start false. Okay, so that's my Boolean value. And then I'm gonna do following. I'm gonna have like here an association. So a travel request can have is associated with one flight. A flight can have multiple travel requests, right? Maybe another colleague of you is also going. And also what we can do here is that we can say one, I will do it in German now because I don't know the thing, departure, okay? And then there's also, we can make an association of return flight, okay? And it's not the best namings I'm using here, but this is just a simple thing. So what I can now do is I can even now go, I could create here and say generate overview pages. I can select both entities. I can select here a layout. And when I click on OK, what happens is suddenly I have this overview of travel request. I suddenly can start this. So let's quickly check this one. And when I go to my navigation, I will click here and say travel request overview, and then I will select an icon here, airplane, it looks good, and then I say show a page, and then I will select this travel request overview which was generated. I click on OK, and then I run the application, and then let's see what's going to happen. And then I would say after that, quickly 15 minutes, we're gonna build the whole request part, the travel request, and then we're gonna run it on the cloud and quickly continue with the other slides and finish. This takes time. When you the first time click on it, it generates deployment files. It generates the data model, the domain model, right? All the initial things. That's why the first running is taking longer. So when you work on your Mendix projects and you do changes in your application, when you do a change in the, let's say you have it running, right? So app is running and you're developing and you wanna test something. Don't click on pause and then on run. Always just click on run, because it will hot refresh. It will run much faster. It will save you a lot of time. And when you do changes in the domain model, then the rerunning takes longer because it has to create the tables and update them accordingly. But changes you do on the page or on a macro flow, when you one time run like this, look here, it says rerun, it will rerun much faster. So when it's running like here, you can click on view app, and then you will see that your app is running on localhost port 8080. And when we go in here now, we can click on this icon in the navigation bar, and as we can see, we have here the simple travel request overview page with the different attributes. I can click here on a new travel request. I can see business trip. I can select the date. Automatically it selects it, like it makes a date picker. I can say from, I don't know, Berlin to Dubai. And this would be populated, of course, later by an API. You can say round trip, no, yes. That's one is towards like a flight. Let's click on save. So you would, from an API, get also the flights, right? You would basically, like Google Flight API or so, you would get them. And then you would basically select it then in your travel request. Where is the edit here? So that's that's also now the wrong field. It should actually show Lufthansa, but this is now just a generic. Okay, so now we want to do it nice. We want to make it look better, like a real travel request. So what we're gonna do is we create here. So first I will close here everything. We create here folder. I call it then travel request. And then how your folder structure always should look like is you have the entity as a folder. Then you have your microflows, okay, inside, and then you have your pages. And then on the high level, you can have structures and mappings. This is how you structure your app. So I put the enum in here. I put the overview pages I will delete. I don't need them. And when I delete, you will see now there's an error happening. It says, hey, you deleted something which was used when I double click here in the navigation. So it shows me that, so I can delete this as well or fix it. And that's a nice thing about the app too. So let's start here with the page. I click on save. I can click on add page. When I add page, there's a wizard I can use as a template, and I can call it travel request step 1. and then I click on OK. So then I have here the front end, and when I go to the design mode, you will see that this one here is blue and the other ones are white. So what how that works is that when I go into the container, right, and I go to where is it? Properties, styling. Here I can see that there's a class which is called wizard step active. So this active one makes it basically blue. I will take this this here and I will put it into step 1. Here it says visited. I will make this active, and then when I go here, it changed, and then I have that. So I will put that to travel request, and then I can make here the supporting text general information. Can click on OK, and then here please fill in your request or so. Can click on OK. So now I have here a data view where I want to have my travel request entity. So what I want is that he fills in that travel request information. For that one, what I'm gonna do is that I gonna create, when I click on the data view, I have here a data source. I will select microflow, and when I select microflow, I can create here a new microflow. I make the S for data source, and then I will call it a travel request, and then click on OK, and then it will use that data flow, that microflow to populate the data. But first, I go into my microflow then. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create here in the toolbox, as we see, all the bunch of things we can do. And one is the create object. I can click on here. I can create an travel request object. And what's now the thing is that this travel request, right, I want to associate it with me, with my user. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to actually create an association of the travel request with the account entity. So here's the account. That's the account I would be logged in with. So an account can have multiple travel requests, and a travel request is always associated to one account, right? Because someone is requesting it. So what I would do is I would auto populate that account and assign it already. For that, I can just retrieve my retrieve an account. Actually, I think there's even a pre-made microflow for that. New account, save account, no. User, my account, manage my account. So here, for example, this is something we can use to get our account, but let me just do it this way. So I'm retrieving an object. And that's actually a new nice feature of Mendix that you can type now and get it. So retrieve the first account object. You want to retrieve the first one, but you want to retrieve the one for your own user. So how you do that is the ID of the user has to be current user, and the current user is a system token which is provided by Mendix. So this will give me back the account of the current logged in user. And then what I can do is in my travel request, I can here in that account member, I can then set it to my account, which I just retrieved. And I can also call it like current user or so. And when I do that, after that, I want to send this back. I make send it back, no source, and then I have this. So what does it say here? Now I go back to my page. As I see, my travel request is the data source. Now it understands, there's a travel request coming, and I will delete all of these things here, and then I will auto put the I will use the connector. Where is the connector actually? Here on the view connector. So what I can do is I can just click here, purpose. Then I can make from date, then to date. Then I can from location, then to location, and then I will also do the round trip. And then what I can do now here is I can change also the form orientation to be like this. Then I can switch this if I want to a checkbox. I just convert checkbox and then it's like that. That one I can change to a drop down if I want the business purpose. I can have here layout grids. This is something you maybe are familiar with Bootstrap. So Mendix is also using Bootstrap. And then you can have here those columns. I will add here a row below, also 66, from and date to date. And then I will add another one from location to location. And I can do much more. But what I want to show now is, let's say I created a round trip, right? Then I want the user to select two trips and not only one. So for that logic, what you're gonna do is we're gonna create quickly step 2. So I can just duplicate this one here, and when I duplicate, I can go in here and rename step 2 and travel request. I will not do the layout now, but here then what we want is this page. So the step 1 is gonna open when you click. There is no previous step, but when we open the next page. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna show a page, and it's gonna be the step 2. So right now I'm in step 1. It's gonna be the step 2. So let me close here everything and save it. From step 1 I open step 2, and what happens is that the properties of the page should now do following. It should here properties. It will have a parameter, that page here, that it will know about the travel request. So this is the object which is gonna be sent, and you can see the selected page expects an object of type travel request which is not available here. So I have to somehow pass this object to the next page, because I want to know what the user said here. So what I do is I go and select the microflow. When I select the microflow, I can say here ACT for action button, open, let's say travel request step 2 open, and then I can click OK. And then what's going to happen is that microflow should actually know about the travel request as a parameter. I hope. Let's check. It doesn't know about that, because like it has to be inside of the view. So for this demo purposes now, I will just move it to inside of the data, so that the button, that the microflow knows about it, it has to be inside of this. And what I'm gonna do is I have to show the footer now. I show it, so here's the next button. And then if I go to that microflow, now I have the travel request here. And actually now I can just open by, I can even just select here the page, and then it has the parameter. Okay, cool. It takes this one. When I click on here, you can see usage, and then I go to that page, and then I can delete this part here because I'm in step 2. And what I can do is in the properties now, I will see of the page the properties that my travel request is here as a page parameter. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make just for demo purposes, okay, I'm gonna make a tab container. From the user experience, it's not the best, but I just want to show you. So this is the one flight, like the Hinflug. I don't know right now how it's called. And that's the back flight. So what I would do is that I would make visibility on the back flight, I would say, and there are many ways of doing it, right? I would say, okay, 1 second, I need the data container. So when I click here on data view, and then I have the context because it's now it knows the page parameter. I can select this one. I can click on OK, don't fill. I can put it in here, and I can say if there is visibility based on an attribute, I can say if it's a round trip, if it's true, then show me the back flight. Otherwise not. Otherwise it's just the one flight. And inside of here, what I do is I click data view, and here also I can then create the data source. Here in the microflow, I can say ds like flight departure or so, or how I call it. I can click on OK. I can click on show. I can go in here. I can then say create a flight object for me. And then associate it with my travel request. Where is it? No, 1 second. I have to. So I create that object, and then I change my travel request, where I basically here my departure. I just take that flight object in here, so it's empty, and then I can return my flight, so it's shown there. And when I go back to my step 2, here then, I mean, I did it actually in a not that best practice way, to be honest, but it's still a way. And then you would then here have your flight, and let's say it would be a list of flights or so when you would search for it. And then you would have a button, which is a button and select. So you can just call a microflow, for example, call it select the flight, and then have a select. It would be a list. Right now it's just one data that was not thought well through, and that's pretty much it. So let's quickly run it. It's not a full functioning app, but we don't have that much time. And what I also want to maybe show you real quick is that LowCodeX YouTube. So I have also a YouTube channel here on LowCodeX where I made some tutorials, for example, with how to show your how to visualize a world map. So when I go in here, you can check this one out too. It's basically, for example, what did I do here? Here, it's thing again, but it's still running. I created the world map in Mendix here like this, where you could click on the countries and it shows you some information related to that. So check this one out as well, that YouTube channel. It's called LowCodeX, and then you can see. So this is running, and when this is finished, then we can quickly have a look in it. Oh damn! What I forgot is to put that page in the navigation, right? Then we can't really access it. So new item, travel request, show a page. My first module, travel request, this one, okay. And then now when I rerun, it should be much faster because I just changed the navigation, and then can have done on the water, and okay, now it's starting again. The time is that. And then I can also quickly show you here in Mendix, there's the academy, right? Oops. And there is the academy here, and here are like learning paths, and those ones are very good to also get started. Here, like our levels, rapid, for example, is one you would start with, and then you would go with intermediate course, and continue like that. But those ones are good. but there are also many more other like YouTube channels from other software companies which have also nice tutorials. So let's click on this. An error appeared. Ah, damn. A forfeit effect is called. But then we can see what the error is. Let's click on that. It says internal server error. Okay, then I click on here. What does it say? On document only accepts here. So now we learn error handling. Ah, damn. It says my first module account only accept IDs of type administration account, system user entity. Ah, okay. So what I've done here with the when I created, where was it? That current user, it doesn't allow that I use the current user because it's a system user entity. So I have to use something else. Where was it? So let's check on manage my account, how they did it. So they just used this edit object type decision to take the current user, and with that they could cast an account object. That's basically the way how we can do it to get to the account. But yeah, then this time it didn't work. I don't want to go further into detail. You see here are the steps and the selection and everything. But it's either way not a full app like this. However, you saw at least now development process, specific steps, right? It's also good to see how I'm struggling. But yeah, that was way too ambitious. Sorry for that. But I'm also, in case, you know what I would like? I want to do more YouTube videos, more tutorials and everything. In case you have questions for specific things, feel free to ask me. And in case you want to see a specific solution you have in mind, can be also just a prototype, let me know. I would love to evaluate the use case and make a YouTube video, a tutorial out of it, right? But I still hope that you get something out of this, what we right now did. And I would like to continue with my slides to also give you time for questions. Is there Timo? Is it from Timo? I hear some.
I just wanted to. So if you have questions, now it's the time. As well regarding how to use, or maybe about the front end of the Studio Pro or whatever. So please use time for questions.
Yeah, I will quickly finish the last slides and then we can do the questions real quick. So here's a Mendix customer landscape, right? A lot of companies. So when you do your career, you have a lot of opportunities. Then about LowCodeX real quickly. This is it's an outdated picture of my team, but that's basically how the team looks like. And this is all the clients I or LowCodeX worked at. Like from Samsung, Zurich, Bain & Company, SAP, I was there, Pilatus, Bosch Haushaltsgeräte, Siemens Energy, FTA from Dubai and so on. So it's a very lucrative market, and there is a lot of job opportunities. So I can definitely like recommend you to do Mendix if you're interested. So thanks from my side. That's my mail address, my LinkedIn. I'm very happy to connect. And then I would say now is the time for questions and answers. And I will leave this slide so you can have time to note down my details. Yeah, Timo, sorry. Now the open questions.
No problem, all fine. So we can stop the recording. Maybe then people are not that shy to.
Yeah, okay. Okay, then thanks everyone. The recording is stopped and then you can ask questions.